Vicky。
洗澡的时候怎么可以打电话呢？我们一起洗，
一起洗。林子，不可以。
Eleanor immediately confronted her husband Ethan and shoved a signed divorce agreement at him. Her real goal was to get her lost love Jason back. Ethan, who had been reborn into the body of a powerless character from a novel, was now a shell of his former self, a business tycoon with no real power. It turned out their marriage was contract-based, just a placeholder, until Jason came back. While Eleanor swore she would always choose Jason, Ethan saw an opportunity to gain the upper hand. He offered a condition for the divorce, one last night together. Eleanor scoffed, but Ethan trapped her with a threat that he would expose their fake marriage to the press, a scandal her company could not afford. Cornered, she reluctantly agreed, thinking it a small price for freedom.
长得倒是挺帅的，我就当被狗咬了。
After that night, they went to the Civil Affairs Bureau and finalized the divorce. As soon as the papers were signed, she ordered him to pack and be gone by the afternoon. She told him not to expect any lingering feelings. He coolly warned her she would regret it. Just then, a luxury sports car pulled up, and a beautiful woman, Ms. Davies, stepped out. She turned out to be the CEO of a rival entertainment company and Eleanor's arch-nemesis. Eleanor watched, stunned, as her ex casually climbed into the car with Ms. Davies.
对了，实在寂寞的话，可以给我打电话。不过丑话说在前面，我不喜欢别人碰过你，牵手也不行。
Ms. Davies offered him $20 million and a place in the villa next door to Eleanor if he helped her get revenge.
苏千雪这个人占有欲极强，我和他又是死对了，刚跟他离婚就跟我在一起，肯定气死他。
很有道理，但我不干。
不是，你难道还舍不得他呀？
得加钱。
1000万。
钱这个东西吧，双数才好挣。
2000万。
走。
The next day, as Eleanor prepared a welcome party for Jason, she was shocked to find Ethan moving in next door. At the party, Jason arrived, but Ethan and Ms. Davies crashed the celebration. Ethan immediately humiliated Jason by announcing he had a severe kidney problem from his reckless days abroad.
你怎么长得这么丑了？气息萎靡，面色虚黄，典型的肾虚表现。这身体被掏空成这样，在国外玩得很花哦。
Eleanor was horrified. Jason, enraged, tried to punch Ethan but was easily tossed aside. To save face, Jason presented Eleanor with an expensive necklace.
我给你戴上吧，我不喜欢别人碰过你，牵手也不行。
啊，不用了，我待会儿自己戴吧。
这个贱人怎么连这点面子都不给我？机场不让我报，坐车让我坐后座，现在连个项链都不让我戴。
Ethan exposed it as a cheap fake. Ms. Davies draped her arm around Ethan and declared to the stunned crowd that he was now her husband. Eleanor was left reeling, as the man she had discarded suddenly seemed powerful and desirable. Consumed by jealousy, Eleanor snapped her chopsticks and texted Ethan offering $50 million to leave Ms. Davies. He read it, smirked, and showed it to his new partner. She whispered that her mother wanted grandchildren, and they left together. Eleanor jumped into her car to chase them. Ethan's new girlfriend kissed him in the car, which made Eleanor even angrier.
老公好帅啊！等回家，我要吃了你！
你这个贱人！
She flirted, trying to catch up, only to see them arrive at a luxury hotel. While Ethan soaked in a bubble bath, Ms. Davies walked in, grabbed his phone, and invited him to join her. Eleanor had been desperately calling him, and even offered $100 million for him to leave the new woman. Instead, she listened helplessly as they laughed together. She saw a silhouette in the window of the two of them wrapped in a passionate embrace. Shaking with anger and heartbreak, she slammed the gas. When she stormed into the house, she found a shocking sight. Ethan was wearing an apron, acting like a dutiful house husband. He greeted her, knelt to remove her heels, and started giving her a shoulder massage as if nothing had happened. Later, tormented by his betrayal, she tried to open a bottle of wine. In a rage, she smashed it on the floor and cut her hand on the glass. The next morning, she woke up in bed beside him. He was gentle and attentive, telling her how beautiful she was and asking when they'd marry. She coldly reminded him their marriage was a contract and that their night together had been an accident. He was unfazed and said her family's objections meant nothing and he wasn't afraid to defy them for her. Eleanor scoffed at his arrogance and reminded him he couldn't beat her family. Ethan boldly said that if he wanted to marry her, not even her family could stop him. She pushed him away and called him delusional for thinking he could have her so easily. Later at breakfast, he drank from her glass of milk and teased that it tasted sweeter because she had touched it. She kicked her legs up on the table and asked if he preferred her legs or her stockings.
从你下楼开始，你就盯着我这双腿，看了17遍了，就这么喜欢我这双腿啊？
喜欢？
那你是更喜欢腿，还是更喜欢丝袜呢？
He leaned in and whispered that he liked her legs and stockings and tried to pull her in for a kiss. Just as he leaned in, she said they needed to meet a big celebrity and revealed a plan to poach her ex-wife's biggest star to bankrupt her company. At that moment, Eleanor was sitting on the floor of her wine cellar surrounded by empty bottles, feeling miserable. She got a text from a man she'd completely forgotten, and he called to pick her up. In the car, she told him she was buying him a Rolls-Royce as an apology gift, but in her head, she was thinking the car was really for her ex-husband, a gift to win him back. When they arrived at the celebrity's villa, Eleanor warned Ethan to behave, but he claimed to be as pure as a sheet of paper. As soon as they entered the celebrity, Ms. Zhang dropped her book, rushed over and called him senior while extending her hand. Eleanor was stunned because the star was famously aloof, and this warm greeting was a shock. Ethan didn't remember her, but she reminded him he had paid her college tuition 6 years earlier after it was stolen. She said that when she was a desperate student crying on a park bench, he had given her the money she needed and told her her future would be bright. Eleanor seized the moment and told the celebrity Ethan was now her assistant and would even get shares in the company. To her surprise, the celebrity immediately agreed to sign with their company. What Eleanor didn't know was the star had made a shocking demand.
在正式签约之前，我有一个条件。孙小姐，你请说。我要林泽全权负责我在田林娱乐的一切活动。有问题？没问题。
At that moment, Eleanor's new assistant tried to confess his love, promising to win the contract if she would be his girlfriend. She shut him down coldly and told him to get the job done first. When they approached, Ms. Davies mocked Eleanor, saying she was too late and the star had already signed. Eleanor's assistant scoffed and promised he would easily secure the contract. Inside, they finally met the star, Ms. Zhang. The assistant introduced himself not as an employee, but as Eleanor's unforgettable love, the one she divorced Ethan for. He called himself a returning elite and dismissed Ethan as a worthless house husband who was never good enough for her. He then began to threaten the star, saying his boss had invested everything into her career, and if she didn't sign, she would be ungrateful and their friendship would be over. His arrogance backfired, and the star flatly refused their offer. The assistant exploded in anger, calling her shameless, but his boss quickly shut him up. Eleanor begged the star for a reason, and the star revealed the truth. She never wanted to work with Eleanor and only considered it to repay a debt of gratitude. The star's confession hit Eleanor like a truck. It wasn't about business, but about her ex-husband, Ethan.
因为你和林泽结婚，我为了报他的恩，才选择了加入你的公司。
什么？清月当年愿意和我签约，是为了林泽？那你现在不续约的原因，也是因为林泽？
对，你们已经离婚了。 而且，他邀请我加入沈田离的公司，我已经答应了。
The truth dawned on Eleanor that for 3 years, Ethan had silently supported her, even arranging for this massive star to sign with her, and she had repaid him by kicking him out. Overwhelmed with regret, she called him desperate to apologize, but he didn't answer. She saw him getting into a sports car with Ms. Davies and ran after them, screaming his name and banging on the window, but they drove away. In the car, Ms. Davies gave him a new mission to break his ex-wife's heart by pretending to be a victim, and if he succeeded, she promised him a night he would never forget. He smirked and said he was a natural. When he got out of the car, Eleanor ran to him, asking why he never told her he'd paid the star's tuition years ago. He feigned ignorance and asked if it would have changed anything. She offered to buy him a house, begging him to leave Ms. Davies and come back, but he coldly refused, saying a house without the person he loved was just a prison. Eleanor grabbed his arm and begged for another chance, but he pulled away. He told her he wasn't interested in a woman who had been with someone else. She swore she had never been with the other man, not even letting him sit in the passenger seat, but he didn't believe her. He said since she'd chosen her first love, she should stick with him because their past was just a memory. Heartbroken, she pleaded, asking what it would take for him to leave his new girlfriend. He told her, "What I want is something I can no longer have." As he walked away, she collapsed in tears, vowing to win him back. Desperate, she pulled out the keys to a brand new Rolls-Royce she'd bought for him, begging him to take it as a sign of her love.
求求你，别离开我好吗？
现在知道求我了，那季泽峰怎么办？
我不知道。
我就知道，你还是对季泽峰抱有幻想。我知道，你喜欢了他5年之久，你选择他，我是可以理解的。而且，他家世背景也不错。而我什么都没有，我比不过他。
不，林泽，你很优秀，我求求你，给我一个弥补你的机会好吗？
算了吧。
为什么？
因为我舍不得让你为难。祝你幸福。
Her assistant ran up, saw the car, and thought it was a gift for him, and was overjoyed. Just then, Ms. Davies appeared and embraced Ethan, congratulating him on his performance. Eleanor's assistant, still confused, asked why his boss was crying, and she, looking at Ethan with his new lover, told her assistant to take the car because it was his apology gift.